Women in general these days still get bullied and body shamed. We're still discriminated against. Women are still paid lower than men. There are some jobs that, women just won't get just because of their gender. And then on the other hand, you have transgender women that, people just don't like them in certain toilets, etc. So as women, we're still trying to fight the struggle. And that's why International Women's Day is just so important, to come together and celebrate all our achievements, socially, economically, culturally, and just anything that we do. I have polycystic ovary syndrome, and my body changes yearly. The shape, the way that it looks, the color of my body, and obviously facial hair. So I had to deal with all of these things as a young woman growing up, and as a teenager going through puberty at such a young age is difficult in itself. But then to have your body change in a way that is against society's beauty standards is hard as it is. I started to embrace who I am, and my beard too. So I think, like I said, once you love yourself, you would see love in others as well. You will embrace others too. And it was hard for me, but I've realized that I love who I am, so I accept who I am. And once you do that, people's negative opinions won't affect you. They won't allow you to change, or you won't allow them to make you change, if that makes sense. I used many methods to remove my facial hair. So I used to bleach her, used to shave her, thread her, wax her. I was way too young to get laser treatment done. I was not even 13 yet. So I just started waxing her, etc. And it led me to have a lot of blemishes, and my skin would bleed, it was torn, it's been stretched, and I would have wrinkles at such a young age. And my skin would burn from the wax as well, and I just got sick and tired of it. So at the age of 16, I thought, I was at my lowest, where I was very suicidal. And I thought, I'm so sick of it. I'm so sick of being body shamed and bullied just because of, just because my body is being formed in such a natural, beautiful way. And I thought, well, if the bullies are allowed to live, why can't I live? Why is it that they're happy bullying me, but I'm being downtrodden, being dragged through the mud just because of the way that I look? So I decided, well, from today on, you're not going to shave her, you're going to embrace her, you're going to love her, and it's going to be a hard journey, but you're going to do it. And that's what I did. And it was literally that thought process had to change. So I was looking at myself very in a negative light. So once I started embracing who I am and the way that my body was changing, and started seeing all the positivity that's in my life anyway, I think that's when the turning point happened. I just decided to embrace her. Now she's grown beautifully, and I absolutely love her. She's my lady beard. I call her Sundari. Sundar means beautiful. So she's my lady beard. I feel that it's quite disrespectful if I say it or her or that. I wouldn't say that to a person, so why would I say that about something that's on me? So I always say, yeah, she's my lady beard. She has her own persona. She wires or curls in different places in different ways, and she's got her own happy persona, which I love to embrace, and that's why I call her my lady beard. I don't think you can put labels on what being feminine is, because just because you have a vagina doesn't mean that you're a woman, personally. There are people out there that have a different, sex organs to me who look or feel more feminine than me. Because then you have transgender people or transsexual. So what can you really say a woman's image should look like, or what femininity really is? I think it's something that you feel inside of you, and it's something that that you feel, it's just something that you feel inside of you. But I think the most important characteristics anyone can have are things like strength, knowing your worth, knowing who you really are, and valuing yourself regardless of who you look like or what your body looks like and what gender you are. The reality is not all women are size 0. We're plus size, we're curvy, we're sexy, we have different hair, we have different body shapes, different color skin, and majority of the time it's just one type of woman that's being portrayed, which is fine. I would never discriminate against that body shape or body type of that woman, but I think people need to realize that there are so many different women that have great values, that are amazing, strong and independent, and they should be also put forward to do such campaigns, for big businesses and companies, and they should be put forward too. But unfortunately, because of the way that they look, it's the outwardly appearance that is stopping them from going ahead and doing such things. Sexiness is different to different people. People aren't just attracted to one type of body shape. And we were also different. We have plus size women who are absolutely gorgeous. You have Tess Holliday, you have Ashley Graham, these gorgeous plus size models, and they're just sexy in themselves. And I think, sexiness comes through who you are and how you portray yourself and how you feel about yourself. And I think that's what will then exude out of you. I don't think you can say that, this type of body shape is sexy, against this body shape. I think it's just how you feel internally about yourself. It's been hard to embrace my own womanhood, especially when society has given you an image of what a woman should look like. So for me, as a woman, that looks different. The struggles that I've had to walk through, or the hurdles that I've had to jump over, have been immense, but it's only because of who I am and the fact that I embrace myself and I find strength through embracing myself is the reason why I'm able to live as a bearded lady. I think if you look different, regardless of if you're a man or a woman, you'll find difficulty settling in any schools, unis or colleges or even workplaces. But I think it's how you embrace yourself and how you embrace your environment is how you're going to sort of push through that. But for me, it just got to a point where I just got sick of it and I thought, well, I know my worth and I know that I'm not going to put up with this anymore. So that's when I stood against it, quit my jobs and decided to do something that I'm passionate about. But if you look different in general anyway in society, you're going to be body shamed and bullied. You're going to have people trolling you on the internet, and that's the cruel world that we live in. But then the opposite side of that as well is that you don't need to be perfect or look perfect to be an inspiration for someone. So people will find inspiration in you just by you accepting your flaws or accepting something that's different about you and actually rocking it and feeling liberated by it. The last few years have been amazing. I have had so many women, because 1 in 5 women suffer from polycystic ovary syndrome, so they will connect to me on that journey and that story just through being diagnosed with the same condition. So I get a lot of positive comments from them, and also youngsters, like young girls and young boys who are also being bullied, ask me about how I overcome bullying and what can they do, and they ask me just for advice. But I think what shakes me is when people say, because of you I'm not suicidal, or because of you, I've changed my life around, or because of you I'm not self-harming anymore. I think my job is well worth doing because of comments like that. Or when mothers say that my 5-year-old daughter is being inspired by you. And I think to myself, a 5-year-old, it's mental, just these comments that I get. And but I embrace it, and I think those type of comments are the most positive thing that comes out of my job. I think death threats are probably the worst thing that I've ever encountered, or threats to behead me, or threats to kill me with fire and brick me, things like that, horrendous things. But that just allows me to realize that there's so much ignorance in the world, and it's not going to stop me. I've gone through way too much to now stop doing what I'm doing, stop being a bearded lady, or stop my activism work. I don't think there's anything that anyone can do now that will actually stop me. I will always be an activist, always be a bearded lady. It's up to her if she wants to leave my face. I hope she doesn't. But yeah, I think death threats probably one of the worst things I've had to encounter. If you love yourself, there's nothing that anyone can say which will allow you to waver or waft away off your path of self-love. So for me, I've embraced who I am fully. I'm liberated, I'm confident, I'm strong. I have found, I've got high self-esteem for who I am, and I know my value and I know my worth. And those are just words, but if you feel it, then it's shown on you as well. And I've had to overcome horrid bullying and discrimination, especially in the workplace and society, etc. So for me, I think being open about my flaws or openly embracing myself, that's where my strength comes from. But the journey's been difficult in itself, but it's so well worth it when women can also connect to your story. Women are powerful, women are very strong, women are very resilient. So for them to come together and do the marches such as the London March, or even come together and rejoice on International Women's Day, is just powerful itself. And unity is what will allow us to make these changes. So I think a lot has changed for women, especially in 2017, but we are still struggling against patriarchy and the media and body shaming and what a woman's image should look like. Never give up. That would be my one piece of advice. Never give up. Never give up on yourself, your life. Never give up, the faith that you have for yourself and the love that you have for yourself. Never let it go. I know it's the hardest thing for you to do when you're being body shamed and bullied, and it's the worst thing that someone can go through, or one of the worst things someone can go through. But I would say, use your strength to keep moving forward. Keep loving, helpful people around you. That's going to inspire you and motivate you to keep grasping hold of life. Never give up is what I would say.